İzzettin Aslan remembers the day 15 years ago when his son Murat went out to run an errand.
Murat was walking down this street when a car stopped behind him. The men in the car called his name. They got out and grabbed him. They threw him in the car and drove away.
Aslan never again saw his son alive.
Gündüz oluyor bunlar yani. Herkes dışarıda, herkesin gözü önünde.
Yes, all the shopkeepers saw what was happening, but no one would say anything out of fear. Back then, in Diyarbakir, they could take anybody away, and no one could say anything.
According to Aslan, his son's only crime was being a Kurd.
The city of Diyarbakir is the center of the Kurdish region of Turkey, and it was around here where thousands of Kurds disappeared in the 1990s. Kidnapped and killed, many believe, by a paramilitary group connected to the government.
Diyarbakir is a city of more than 1 million people along the banks of the Tigris River. Dating back thousands of years, Diyarbakir has long been a Kurdish enclave, an ethnic group with roots in ancient Persia. In the mid-1980s, Kurdish separatists here began fighting for the region's independence from Turkey. The Turkish government has fought the rebels using the regular army. But now there are allegations that the Turkish government also used death squads to kill Kurdish sympathizers.
There are thousands of unsolved murders and thousands of missing people.
Sezgin Tanrıkulu is a lawyer and human rights activist in Diyarbakir. He represents dozens of families looking for missing relatives.
I lived here back then, so I know the fear, the intimidation. People couldn't leave their homes. People didn't know whether they would return home at night when they left in the morning.
As part of its crackdown, the government reportedly enlisted a brutal paramilitary group called JITEM. Until a few years ago, not much was known about JITEM. But in 2004, a former member of the group, Abdülkadir Aygan, confessed to taking part in the killings of several Kurds. In this video posted on the internet, Aygan speaks about one atrocity committed by his commanding officer.
He made the kids kneel down on their knees and shot them in the back of their necks. I never forgot that scene of blood dripping from their foreheads.
In his confession, Aygan said that as a member of JITEM, he was paid by the Turkish government. He produced this paycheck stub to support his claim. Attorney Sezgin Tanrıkulu had long suspected that JITEM was operating with the government's approval. He took us to the now abandoned compound that once served as the headquarters for the Turkish security forces in Diyarbakir. This compound was a highly secure area. Not just anybody was allowed in. Nonetheless, JITEM had an office here.
This building was the Office of Government Prosecutors. But that building over there, that's where members of JITEM did their interrogations.
Savcılıkla JITEM binası bu kadar yakındı. Bir bağlantıları var mıydı?
The prosecutors couldn't go to that building to look around. The distance was only 10 meters. But despite hearing voices, they couldn't go and see what was going on.
Ne tür sesler duyarlardı?
Voices of people who were being tortured, screams. If a person was brought to that building, it was very rare that they would come out alive. Very rare.
As part of his confession, Abdülkadir Aygan, the former JITEM member, led the police to several grave sites of those he says the group killed. One grave was of İzzettin Aslan's son, Murat. Aslan was there the day the grave was excavated.
There was nothing but bones. When the skull was exposed from the shape of the chin, I knew 500% that it was Murat. I will never forget that day.
DNA testing proved the bones belonged to Aslan's son. Aslan says as far as he knows, his son was not active in Kurdish politics. But even if he was, he believes that's no reason to kill a man.
My son was not the only one that was targeted. All the Kurds were. If the current government is legitimate, it should demand justice for all, for anyone who's been unfairly treated, killed, injured. I won't trust my government if it doesn't.
In recent months, several more graves have been dug up. The bones have been sent for testing. Other families hope their loved ones will be among those identified. Hakkı Kaya runs a sandwich stand in central Diyarbakir. His dad disappeared in 1996. Kaya was only 13. He had to quit school and go to work to help support the family.
I hold the government responsible. It's definitely the state, the deep state, JITEM.
In his father's case, Kaya believes the kidnapping wasn't because of politics, but money. It's rumored that JITEM often tried to extort money from local businessmen. Again, the confession of Abdülkadir Aygan may hold the answer to the disappearance of Kaya's father. Just recently, information provided by Aygan led authorities to these unmarked graves in a local Diyarbakır cemetery.
Senin için babanın kemiklerine ulaşmak, ona düzgün bir cenaze yapabilmek neden önemli?
We are sad every day, and we can't forget about his disappearance. If we had his body, at least we can go to his grave and pray for him. It would comfort us a little bit.
In the years since the war against the Kurdish separatists began, a new government has taken the reins in Turkey. It's investigating the political violence that engulfed this region in the 1990s. As a result, several members of the military and the government have been arrested because of suspected links to JITEM. They're now on trial.
Around here, this conflict has been going on for 25 years. It has taken a heavy toll dividing our country. Justice needs to be done if we want reconciliation and peace.
I'm Gizem Yarbil reporting for World Focus from Diyarbakır, Turkey.